everyone. Thank you for joining the webinar. We'll just wait for another 2 minutes to let participants join and then we'll start. Thank you everyone to join the webinar today. Our guest speaker for today is Dr. Kalpana and Dr. Sharmela. A very warm welcome to you, doctors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope my audio and video is clear.
Thank you, Kanika. And this is an excellent initiative to connect people from all over the world and also inspiring the young generation to take up and, make them great in their own field. And it's so nice to introduce them to various surgeons. My good wishes to all the young generation doctors.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for such a kind word.
Thank you, Kanika. It's a pleasure to be on this platform, the Inspire IMG platform, and to be able to speak and to young doctors all globally and who are very interested in being international medical graduates and working overseas. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for such a kind word. The session is over to you. I'll be in the backstage. If you have any issues, please do let me know.
Okay. Dear friends, I'm Dr. Kalpana Nagpal, as Kanika has introduced. I'm right now a senior consultant at Indraprastha Apollo Hospital. This is a large corporate hospital in New Delhi, and I'm senior consultant in the field of ENT and head and neck surgery and chief of robotic surgery. You guys must excuse me for my throat. In between, I've been having laryngitis for the last 2 days, so I might have a little cough. So it's a long journey and journey full of challenges. And I don't think it's only me. Most women fraternity would have their own challenges. It may be a little less or more, case to case. But what I believe is every woman has to go through a lot of challenges in life. It may be because of physiological changes, it may be like puberty, or it may be, the regular menstrual cycles, etc. It may be pregnancy, it may be marriage-related issues, relationship issues, like it can be with, the spouse, their extended family, like in-laws, etc. And professional challenges like acceptance at the workplace. How many people are open to women growing? There's always a factor of jealousy. There's always a factor of, that the second level thing. For example, the public also, or the male colleagues in your own fraternity might think that women perform less than men. Unfortunately, we all know this is not true. Women can perform better than men.
Doctor, sorry for interrupting. There is a network issue from your end. Your voice is breaking in between.
Oh, is it? But here I'm sitting in the Apollo conference room, and here the Wi-Fi should be okay.
Okay, now it's better. It's better now.
It's better now?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, I hope so far it has been clear. Or should I repeat the whole thing?
It was clear, doctor.
Okay, so I can continue, right? So, yes. So, in no way women are less than men. So, we could definitely be leaders in various fields and definitely take over any projects, or be the CEO, be the general manager, or be the chief of some surgery department, or it can be any specialty. It can be plastic surgery, it can be orthopedics, because things are changing now. Earlier, in women's fraternity, they would usually opt for physician specialties or specialties like ophthalmology, where the workload may not be much, or dermatology, because they want to be home on time and they don't want to deal with emergencies. Now things are changing rapidly. Now there is a lot of, scope and understanding and betterment for women, in the sense women are taking newer specialties. They're taking up even emergency medicine and long hours, like orthopedics and plastic surgery involved, but they're choosing these kind of specialties. So I feel so happy that women can do whatever they like. See, ultimately, it's you want to do what you like, and you don't want anybody to suppress you in any way. And so I'll let you know what my story has been briefly. Like since childhood, like first of all, I studied in Kendriya Vidyalaya in Chennai, in a small place called Avadi, where the tanks are being manufactured, Russian tanks. So this is in one interior of Tamil Nadu. And I did all my schooling there. And being Kendriya Vidyalaya, I opted for both maths and biology. So by the grace of God, I got selected for IIT as well as medicine. And Kendriya Vidyalaya, I mean, we must definitely appreciate these schools, because those days, without even enough technology, but we loved schooling. We had everything, a balance of, work as well as sports and other co-curricular activities. So after that, now I was in, little confused whether I should continue with engineering or the medicine. But medicine had its own glamour, so I wanted to take up medicine. And moreover, my mother, she has been an epileptic. So I've seen epileptic episodes, including status with the epilepticus, which is where the patient has seizure for a long time, and patient can be requiring oxygenation, admission, etc. So my mother used to have these frequent admissions, and I being the oldest child, I used to be subjected to all this. I had this fear in me whenever I would, because I would know that the epilepsy is going to be there, is an aura before that. So, the fear used to be there in me, whether I'll be able to witness that episode, because those days things were so different. And then calling for ambulance, my dad would be at work, and so all these kind of challenges. And then one day I saw her with burns, and I was just 5-year-old, and so many things in childhood. And despite that, luckily, and I still think she's a very strong woman, despite whatever pain and epilepsy, etc. She always said one thing: you should never have tears unless somebody really close has died. Otherwise, you shouldn't have tears. Until today, I try to follow that. So that strength in me is because of her. So now, despite the other challenges like financial challenges, my father had his losses in business. He started a hotel, etc. So those are different things. Now, after getting into IIT, which was initially the results were announced for engineering. So for a month, I joined IIT Powai in Bombay. And it was a fantastic campus, so I loved it and made few friends. And then as soon as I got medicine, then I got shifted. And medical college was in a different state because I was like, they went there as a non-local. And then I did my MBBS in Osmania Medical College, Hyderabad, and fantastic college where they had very good bedside discussions, etc. And then after that, I had to do my post-graduation. Now, meanwhile, this luck thing happened in internship, like my husband. He got attracted for some reason. He wrote letters, so we got married, and without even thinking how we were to proceed, without any monetary support, etc. So we only had second-hand cycles with us, and I managed somehow to get an ICMR scholarship by writing some project, etc. So we got some 1,800 rupees, and which was a big amount that time. And with this, we got one tiffin box every day delivered, and we used to share that. I don't know how we managed with one exhaust fan on the ceiling. So with this, we managed our post-graduation also. Now, post-graduation as a non-local, I went to Pune. So now, after doing this, then, in medicine, just MBBS and PG is not sufficient. You will have to do some super specialization, otherwise it's difficult. Now, us being an inter-caste marriage, so I being a South Indian, now I have to move to North, and you know how the challenges are. They're not going to accept you initially saying, oh, nice bahu, so good and all that. No. So I had my own challenges. The first day itself, I was asked to make a perfect chapati, which I could never. And so there were those challenges marital related. But despite that, I was focused in the sense that I knew I had to do something. But unfortunately, I was not supported for going and doing FRCS. So that was my first blow. I had to let down. I had to adjust. And so I thought, it's okay. If not now, let me do something else. So now it's running from pillar to post from one nursing home to another. This was immediate post-PG. Earning few bucks, and that's it. After a few months, I was really feeling bad that I'm only treating cough and cold and doing just tonsillectomy, septoplasty. So then I applied for this corporate hospital, Apollo Hospital. Then I joined as a registrar, and after that, as a senior consultant, because I did some good work in the registrar. And more than good work, you have to be sincere and honest. So I was like very sincere. I was spending all the hours. I was not trying to cheat and all that. And then once I did my post-graduation, once I did my registrarship, then I thought I must do something different, otherwise they're not going to promote me. So that's when I decided, and then I went to America. And now going to America, it's not easy. That was my first international trip, so I had to go through Frankfurt on my own because, those days, again, you can't afford to take other people with you, like family members or anything. Spending for one ticket itself was a big deal. So now opened up the world map globe, and then you see where Frankfurt is and where in America I'm going. And then I did my fellowship. This was in Savannah, Georgia. So I spent 1 year for sinus surgery. I enjoyed thoroughly the training there. The library was fantastic. And the good thing is the food is open for you. The cafeteria is full of food every day. Even though it's not Indian food, you're having something or the other. So that was a challenge, but I really enjoyed. I enjoyed I didn't have to buy books. Everything was in the library, so I could focus at that. So the cadaveric dissection hall was available where just one-to-one, like one tutor for one student was available, which is a luxury in India. Even now we don't have sufficient cadaveric labs, and so the training is not as possible as in America. So I learned my sinus surgery under Dr. Frederick Kuhn. He's the world's famous sinus surgeon. There are instruments named after him. They're called Kuhn instruments. So I was lucky, God has been kind. But then the challenge was I was 1 year away from my husband. So obviously it wasn't easy, but still he was very supportive. So I finished my fellowship. Then I came back, and then I had to apply for my senior consultancy in Apollo with promotion. So they said, no, the other departmental people who were men colleagues, they said, no, we can't take her. How can we take her? She's a woman, and plus she doesn't have enough years of experience. She has to prove her mettle and all that. Okay. So with great difficulty, they took me as visiting consultant. Now, visiting consultant, the terms and conditions was there won't be any new patient provided for you, but you have to do something different. You have to prove your own work, good work, and then you would be given a full-time consultancy, which means a chamber. Meanwhile, you have to think of the other things. Now, I've come back from America, so people will ask you, when are you going to have your issue, your child, and all that. So that was another challenge. Now, I had several abortions. I cannot remember exactly, at least 6 or 7 abortions. And two times where I delivered twins. And unfortunately, they were premature and they couldn't survive. So those were other challenges. They had admissions for those. I had 17 surgeries by then, including spine surgery because of whatever reasons. In post-graduation, I stood with buckets of water and all that, and it hurt my spine. So there was a major spine surgery. Then I had the myomectomies, and then I had IVF procedures. So finally, we had one beautiful baby. And parallelly, I had to prove my mettle in Apollo. So I was now only doing a 2 to 3 hour job, in the sense I would go for surgeries, I would do a small OPD and then come back and attend to my infant because there's no support system. Once you're a doctor, you're not accepted. My in-laws clearly said, you can be a doctor, you can be anything, but you have to give time for your child on your own. You have to, take care of your in-laws. Well, I was very sincerely taking care of all the duties. I was taking care of my baby. But I had challenges when, imagine I had to leave my baby with a pujari, this female priest in the temple close by, request her. Till today, I'll never forget her. Whenever she comes home, I give her a lot of things. So she used to take care of my baby while I'm operating. And then, now, luckily, my work in the hospital was appreciated, and then my admissions were increasing. And so within 1 year of visiting consultancy, then I was given a full-time consultancy in Apollo Hospital. Now, again, that was not possible. Why? All my other colleagues said, no, 4 hours, no, she's not going to get it. No, we are not allowed. We only have 3 chambers and she's not. So now again, I was given and it was retracted, like it was taken back. And it was a big shock, so I was only given 2 hours, so which was called a part-time consultant. And I said, okay, what to do? So I continued as a part-time consultant for 5 years. But my number of admissions and everything was not bad. I was probably second leading in the department despite 2 hours only. So that's when I thought, now I must do something more. Otherwise, this hospital probably is not going to, I should really blame the hospital management. As I said, my colleagues were jealous. Anyway, then finally, I went in for this, robotic surgery training. And this was in Korea. And again, now I had to take my daughter, young daughter who would be locked up in the hotel room. Korea is safe, but still, leaving a child behind, you always have this heartaches here. You're not sure, you have to keep calling and checking if she's had her food timely, etc. So I spent my basic training in Seoul, and again, a very nice place, but the big challenge was it's not an English-speaking population. So you have to keep using Google all the time. When you're taking help from people also, you have to ask them, request them to open their net and then give you directions, etc. This Yonsei University was excellent. Yonsei University, I still recommend to all of you, be it any branch, you must go there for training because it's really good. And their work quality, the kind of facilities they had plenty of robots. And the dissection hall was too big. Everything was so big. I mean, they had, even though Korea is such a small country, the facilities there is just beyond description. They're too good. So if anybody gets a chance, please go there. And then after basic training, then I had to go for advanced training. So advanced training again, Korea. And after completing all this, now when I came back, I was ready for starting the case, but there were certain rules by the Da Vinci company, the Da Vinci robot that we use. They clearly said that the first 10 cases, you need a mentor, you cannot do it alone. And after the 10 cases are done, then we assist it. These videos come to us in San Francisco. If they're fine, only then you can continue. And these 7 cases have to be done within 3 months. Otherwise, your license will be cancelled. Oh my God, you go all the way to Seoul, get a license, and then after that you read these terms and conditions that your license can be cancelled. And that's how some of my 2 or 3 colleagues who went later couldn't continue because they couldn't do those 7 cases in the given time. Now the next challenge begins. When I wanted a mentor, I looked for, there was no mentor in ENT. In ENT, in head and neck surgery, I'm the first one to start in the country, again thanks to God. Now I had to request a head and neck oncologist to be my mentor. Now he being a male colleague, for the first case he was willingly there, he was there and thanks to that. The second case onwards, he clearly refused. He said, no, I don't have time. I even said, you can share my fee, you can do, I can do whatever you want. But for some reason, it didn't take off. So I had to manage on my own from the second case. So which means, you see, as in private practice, you're responsible for everything. So you have to, when you're doing a case, when you explain the consent, and when you're taking up a new surgery, there is a possibility of complications also. So you should be able to handle the machinery. I mean, you should be thorough with it, familiar with it, because any one particular thing you don't understand or you're in between stuff, there's no second person who can come and help you. That was the major challenge for me. But again, thanks to God, my graph was ascending. So the learning curve has been good. And so from the second case onwards, I've been independent. And then later on, after 50 cases, so I started doing more and more, expanding my indications. Today, I'm close to 300 cases, and I've also been training people. I've been training international candidates. There are observers who come from different countries, from Nepal, Bangladesh,